Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here, and guess what? After 4 years of tirelessly playing Clash of Clans, it's time to... That's right, guys. Celebrate good times because I did it. I finally got as close to max as I'm ever going to get. Now, I'm not going to upgrade Woody, my level 1 wall, because you guys don't want me to. I asked you guys the last few Clash of Clans episodes, and yeah, you guys want me to keep them, so I'm going to keep that wall there, but otherwise, I'm 100% maxed out. Town Hall 11 took me a little bit under 4 years to do so. I haven't been grinding that much the last 6 months to a year now. I only had about 100 or 200 walls left about 6 months ago, so I've just been taking my time, getting about 100 attacks in or so per season, doing a lot of donating. You can see all my troops are maxed out. My player profile always being transparent with you guys. Obviously, you can check this out in-game anyway, but I did my fair share of farming and my fair share of gemming. You can see here my gold grab is 1.2 billion on my main account here, so definitely either your time or your money are going to spend maxing out your base, and you can see I definitely did a little bit of both. The stat on my profile that I'm most proud of is over 700,000 friend in need, and that's without going to any donating clans. That's just 4 years of being super active the entire time. I've really not taken any long breaks, anything over a few days from Clash of Clans throughout the last 4 years. I've been a hardcore addict ever since. So in today's episode, I thought we could kind of have a little fun, and what I'm going to do is show some of my recent replays, show what kind of attack strategy I've been using, just for fun out in the wild. I have been using Clone Spell. As you can see, I actually enjoy Clone Spell a lot. I don't think it's powerful enough to viably use in war, at least, you know, as effective as using extra rage spells or extra heal, depending on what kind of attack you're using, but I actually do really like the idea behind the Clone Spell, so I've been using it a lot in my raids here. Now, I should note that I'm not trying to get 2 stars on any of these bases. You can see I'm at 4,700 trophies right now, and that's just when the clouds start to get a little bit unbearable, and because I have been farming, I don't want to gain too many trophies, so I'm actually been trying not to get the 2nd star unless it's really, you know, I'm not going to try to avoid it, but, you know, on these ring bases, I'm not overly concerned with getting the town hall down. Obviously, I'd like the loot, but I don't want the trophies, so it's kind of a give and take. Anyway, you can see here with this strategy, I'm using 7 miners in my clan castle, 7 miners that I cook myself, and I use them as the 2 flanks, and then I just send all the bowlers in a big long line with a heavy concentration of bowlers right in the middle of that line. And what I do is that middle of that line of bowlers, when it gets to an area that I deem critical in the base, then I'll drop my clone spell on it. So usually it's in the core against these ring bases. Sometimes it's just kind of haphazardly placed towards the end of the raid or towards the beginning of the raid. But anyway, the reason I'm doing this strategy here, guys, is A, to try out the clone spell a little bit, just try to get the hang of it, because I do anticipate at some point in the future Supercell should buff it. Maybe they'll drop it to 3 spell cost or change the mechanic in some way, so I'm trying to get a handle on using the clone spell. It's obviously kind of basic to use. It's not like it needs a full tutorial per se, but either way, I'm just trying to, you know, have fun, keep things different, and you can see I'm using 4 earthquake spells as well. That way I can take 2 rage spells. So I'm without the poison, but I've been managing fine without the poison. You can see a lot of nice gold grabs here, and plus I have the 300k loot bonus, so that was a crappy raid. All the gold storages were all clumped together, so that's not fun to watch. So what I figured we'd do in today's episode was kind of take a look back, all the way back into time. Any Blackstreet fans out there? Probably not. Probably dating myself. Anyway, we're going to take a look back into time, and I'm kind of going to go through the history of how I farmed to max over the last 4 years. So I started out way back in the day not knowing anything about Clash of Clans. This is before my YouTube channel and before I watched anybody else's YouTube channel. So it was a long time ago, and I had no clue what I was doing. So largely from Town Hall 1 to Town Hall 7, I basically just used the general troops. I just kind of cooked random masses of troops, be it giants, even wizards. I was a big fan of just making like a half a dozen or a dozen of every single troop and going in, not knowing what the heck I was doing, but you know, you can actually afford to do that. It kind of brings me back. It's nostalgic in a way, because it brings me back to the days where strategy wasn't even necessarily that important. It was just making that slow and steady progress, and it wasn't that slow because, you know, those town halls early in the game game, they're made so you can progress very, very fast through them, even if you're not using the most effective farming techniques. So I did a bunch of giants and healers and mixed in some wizards and stuff, and that kind of stuff can kind of get you by early on. Look at this gold on this raid, by the way, here, guys. 975 plus the bonus. Sign me up for that. Now, if I could do things over, or I have done things over, so the second time around, obviously, when you know what you're doing from Town Hall 1 to 7, in my view, you really have two main options, and it should be in lower leagues. You know, I'm a big fan of going Silver League from Town Hall 1 to 7, or not 1, but, you know, Town Hall 5 to 7. I'm a big fan of hanging out in Silver League and just using really cheap and effective armies and trying to get a boost session in here and there. So that's pretty much what I would do the second time around. The first time around, who knows what I did? I kind of just threw anything at the wall, and hey, at the end of the day, it worked. So as I progressed to Town Hall 7 and Town Hall 8 with this account, what I did was a lot of just giant healer in the bin, then a bunch of goblins. I wasn't a huge Barcher or a BAM attacker. I really liked to have those heavier troops in the healers and the giants if I needed them to get to the core of the base. And then I was a big fan of, especially even if I did need the Dark Elixir, I really liked adding at least 5 Hog Riders to my compositions. It just made things a lot easier, and it gave me a lot more defensive firepower in terms of defensive targeting firepower to get rid of those defenses and allow my goblins to really have free reign of the base after the core was cleared. So that was what I really used a lot all the way through Town Hall 8. When I got through Town Hall 9, now remember guys, this is over 2 years ago. There were no Lava Hounds in the game. Actually, I think this is right around the time that witches were introduced to the game when I got to be Town Hall 9. So the thing is for me at Town Hall 9 at that point in time, you know, it was weird. It was before Clan Wars 2 when I was Town Hall 9 and 10 actually. And what we used to do is a lot of Balloonian farming. And that was actually some of my earliest YouTube videos 2 years ago now, was Balloonian farming. So I was a big Balloonian guy at Town Hall 9. And obviously this was also before Queen Wonk, Super Queen, any of that stuff. So your options were really limited, and I was always an air guy early on. So I love Balloonian farming. Obviously it takes a decent amount of both Elixir and Dark Elixir, two of the resources that you're really after at that point. So it was kind of slow moving, but slowly but surely I actually was able to almost max out my Town Hall 9. I remember upgrading to Town Hall 10 a little bit prematurely. I was, you know, I hadn't maxed out my walls, and all my defenses weren't maxed out either. I think I had my Expos maxed, but my Archer Towers and my cannons still needed an additional level each. But at that time, remember, no Clan Wars, so rushing really wasn't that big of a deal. If you rushed, you're only hurting or helping yourself. It's not like you're affecting your clanmates by any means. So that was my strategy at Town Hall 9. I rushed to Town Hall 10 a little bit, and then at Town Hall 10, you know, now we're creeping up to the last year and a half, 2 years. Then I kind of took things a little bit easy, and I adjusted my farming a lot at that point. I stopped gemming, by the way, around the same time. Obviously, still gemming donations here and there, but meanwhile, I stopped gemming the time and resources for my defensive upgrades. I did that a little bit early on at Town Hall 7 and 8 because, ironically, I was actually in a competition with my friend at work who started playing the game at the same time I did, and when I have a competitive spirit in me, so especially when one of my real-life friends was playing at the same time that I was like, okay, man, I don't care how many attacks he gets in, my village is always going to be better than his. So I went down that slippery slope of at first, you know, buying $10 in gems, and then buying, hey, you know, one time for my birthday, Ash, just give you $50. Give yourself $50, Ash. You deserve it. And then one thing turned into another, and ended up doing a little bit of gemming there back in the day. But either way, when I got to Town Hall 10, I kind of stopped because I kind of realized, you know, Ash, you're getting a little bit close to the end of this game here. By the way, guys, hope you're enjoying these clouds. This is what I mean by not wanting to gain trophies, in case you were questioning me. It takes a long time to even farm up here right now. So just a few months after I hit Town Hall 10, Supercell released Lava Hounds, so I did a lot of Lava Loonian farming early on at Town Hall 10, and then eventually, if you fast forward a little bit, eventually I really got into using Valkyries and Super Queen and the type of stuff that we see now for farming. I'll tell you what, guys, back in my day, farming was not as easy as it is right now, because really nowadays, if we take a step back from my road to maxed out base, you know, it really depends on two things, the best farming strategy for an individual. We'll hit this base right here. It's going to be a total spam attack, by the way. I have absolutely absolutely no elixir, so I couldn't make any wall breakers, couldn't make any regular spells except for one rage spell, so we're just going to go ahead and quake in here and drop all these bowlers on the board. It's definitely going to be a, well, it might be a 2-star if some of them funnel into the center. No clone spell on this attack. But anyway, guys, if you want to know the best farming strategy today for you at Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11 especially, it's really simple. You want to target one of the major resources, Dark Elixir or Elixir, and then you want to use an army that's really super heavy on the opposite resource that you're targeting. And the other factor is obviously how often you raid, right? So if you raid all in one big clump, if you boost for 1 hour a day, then you want to use cheap and fast armies like Goblin Knife, and you want to go lower it in League. If, like me, you raid maybe 5 times a day or so, with an hour or 2 in between each raid, then you want to use a heavier army and make it really heavy. You know, why not make it a heavy army using the resources that you don't necessarily need at the moment? So if you're going for Dark Elixir in your Town Hall 10 or Town Hall 11, your best bet definitely, in my opinion, is to go with a mass miner comp. Just mass miners, spam these bases, and take advantage of the strength of miners right now. If you're going for gold or elixir, just go mass bowler or mass Valkyrie. Start with a queen walk in either scenario if you want to. Super queen farming is better than ever, and that's my advice, guys. It's really simple at Town Hall 10 and 11 right now. That's why I don't make too many Town Hall 10 and 11 farming videos, because you just basically target the resource that you're not using on your army, and that's basically it, guys. It's pretty easy. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this history of my farming and a few tips at the end there in terms of what my favorite farming strategies are today. So guys, if you want to see more farming content, comment below, let me know what you're looking for, and I'll be sure to bring it to you guys sooner rather than later. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.